Morning.
Dan?
Hello.
How you doing?
Very blessed.
What's that?
Very blessed.
Good, me too. How are things going this morning?
Well, they're going well for me, but I'm here to exhort Christians to love their neighbor as themselves.
Yeah, this is great. So
You have an objection?
I do, yeah.
What's that?
Based on your tactics, not on your and you setting up in our front without letting us know you're going to be here.
Why do I need to let you know I'm going to be here?
What?
Why do I need to let you know I'm going to be here?
Because we live in a church. We have a church in a neighborhood that is divided on pro-life and pro-choice issues, and we've chose to put the gospel first. Try to teach them the gospel and let them come to know God's love and His love for the unborn as well.
Well, I'm helping you to do that this morning.
Yeah. I don't want to argue with you.
I'm not arguing. I'm just telling you I'm helping you to do that.
I know. I don't think you are, based on our church's desire and mission.
Okay.
So, this is trespassing.
No, it's a public sidewalk, as you can see.
Okay. So if you choose to do this, then I would say you are not loving our church well and the authority and the leaders of this church. That what we've chosen to do, our model for how we're doing ministry and how we're trying to bless people. And so I would ask you to kindly leave as a brother in Christ.
I can't do that because children are being murdered in this community, in this city, and most Christians are acting like it's no big deal. This is what's happening to preborn children right here in Denver. Children were massacred yesterday morning at Planned Parenthood on 38th Avenue. They're murdered throughout the week. And I'm here to exhort those who follow Jesus Christ to put their love into action, to love their most needy, helpless neighbors as themselves. And most aren't doing that. It doesn't matter if we say we're pro-life. We need to put that opinion into action. If we say abortion is murder, but we don't act like people are being murdered, then what good is our opinion? It means nothing. People say I'm Christian, but if they don't live out the gospel, if they don't put their faith into action, it's meaningless. And most professing Christians aren't doing that.
Do you have an interest in hearing our view on that, or
on your view on what?
Yeah, on what's happening in our culture right now with all the babies being killed?
Well, are you taking action?
Yeah.
So what actions are you taking?
So our family adopted a young man who's from Africa.
That's good.
And have walked alongside of him, and he began being promiscuous with a girl that we all got to know and love, and she conceived.
Okay.
And so they were going to abort the baby. So with tears, we met with the two of them, and time again. And we now, praise God, have a little African-American grandson who would have been aborted had we not walked him through a theological understanding of God's vision for the unborn. And really couldn't be more thrilled to have little Killian in our lives. And as a result, in fact, I was just downstairs, it's one of the things I was praying about, was Amendment 115, this grief that we have over it not passing, and our collaborating about that and voting as we did, in favor of at least restricting, but it's only 22 weeks, so
yeah. So it's not pleasing to God. We have to abolish all abortion.
Exactly. So it's such a confusing proposition. So anyway, we're engaging it in a whole, and we partner with a group called the Florence Crittenton organization, and that's for unwed single mothers. And we've hosted events for them here to walk alongside the women who have made the choice to keep their babies and not abort them. And the list goes on, just in terms of what we do along these lines. And we preach God's favor for everybody, the born and the unborn, the black lives from conception on. Or like our neighbors whose signs say, women's lives are human's rights, so are human lives. Women's rights are human rights. So then when we engage in conversations, we point out a woman has rights before she's born. So we're very invested relationally as a relational disciple-making church in this community. And we personally haven't been led to put out signs on behalf of our church like this, because we have found that people have been more persuaded through a loving relationship and conversation to actually make the choice to keep their babies, and some have been persuaded to vote along the lines of a more pro-life stance. through the approach of Jesus, of coming alongside and being in proximity and relationship, and allowing them to see how they're living and then be transformed and be kind of made new from the inside out. A new creation. And then their moral choices are altered and changed. Some don't, and we can't,
And God will
judge them, yeah. But
And he'll judge
our hope is through preaching, through praying, through relationships, through getting data out and communicating information on this subject.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Going to, whenever we go back past the abortion clinics in this neighborhood, really praying and asking for God's presence to move and displace the darkness and bring His governance into the leadership there. So
the people here do go out to where they're murdering children?
I'm sorry, what?
So there are people here who go out to the abortion clinics to...
Yeah.
Any idea how many?
Well, some are very passionate about it. We have, anyway, I don't know how many, but it's...
Like 10, less than 10?
Probably 10.
Okay.
Yeah, that I know of.
Well, that's good.
Done that kind of thing, and
that's good. And
by the way, this is Rob, and I'm Dean. Yeah.
And are you are you elders or?
We are.
Okay.
Yeah, we are. It's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. And
two of the 4 elders.
I'm Nicholas.
And Nicholas, thank you.
Just,
Nicholas,
I hope you'll see, even if you disagree with how I do it, the tactic, that I'm actually here to help you, because
I understand.
And also, there's help needed at Planned Parenthood. I was there yesterday and Friday, and on Saturday, when obviously people aren't working, a lot of people are not working and not in school.
Yeah.
So that's the day when more people can come out to rescue children. And yesterday, I counted at best, I think 4 or 5 Christians. For much of the time, there was only about 2 or 3 of us.
Yeah.
And the sidewalk was pretty much empty except for just a few of us, and that's disobedience by the churches. We, like the world, think of how the world sees that.
Yeah.
People who aren't Christians, they drive by Planned Parenthood, they drive by another abortion mill where they're murdering children, and they see an empty sidewalk. They see maybe 1, 2 people out there. Sometimes they see nobody.
Yeah.
And I've been out there when there was nobody else out there but me. And are they going to believe that they're murdering people in there? No.
Right.
Now, if there were 1,000 people out there, would they believe something's going on? Yeah.
Right.
And so it's a bad testimony. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I come to churches to call them to repent. Is there's almost nobody at these places where they're murdering children, and we know when and where. Yeah. You can.
I have to go inside to finish something. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Did you get a pamphlet?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Here, you can give that to him, or And so, please see that as a brother trying to help others to love God, to love in good deeds, and to think about, are we doing enough? I ask myself that a lot. Am I doing enough? And a lot of times I don't like the answer. And so I'm just here exhorting those who profess to be Christians, who love God, to love their neighbor as themselves. Would you like a pamphlet, sir? You know, children are being murdered in the city. Yeah, preborn children are being murdered here, and they need help.
So
this is happening to your neighbors right here in Denver.
So I guess I'll just say one more time, if you would please move on to another place, that would be great.
But why do you want me to do that?
What's that?
Why do you want me to do that? For what reason?
Okay, because we are praying that the kingdom will come here on earth as it is in heaven, as you are.
Okay.
But I think God gives different people different approaches and different strategies for how to do that. And because of we've been doing this for over 20 years now in this community, building relationships and walking alongside many, many people. And like I've already said, we've seen not just my son, adopted son because of what he was going through, but many others who have made choices. So we're using a different strategy. So I would put it in the category of Paul and Barnabas. Same goal, same motive, different approach. So let's part ways. And hey there, how's it going? Good, how are you?
Well, don't oppose a brother, and even if you disagree with the approach, when he's trying to help you to love God, because these images save lives, right?
Yeah.
What if a baby is saved through these images? What if a mother coming here today is going to murder her child, or she's taking hormonal birth control?
Okay, that's okay. If you're not going to honor what the elders of our church are asking, then I don't think we are united, because the way I see God working is through authority. And so if you're not going to honor that, then I need to go in and I can't ask you to leave
Well, you can, but I can politely,
ask,
I can
but
respectfully refuse.
You can respectfully refuse. So
And-
then we'll just agree to disagree on strategy.
The reason I refuse is because the preborn need me at these churches. The preborn need me to plead for help,
Okay.
and most time I don't get help.
Okay.
Most time the churches reject their preborn neighbors, and they won't go out to rescue these neighbors, their most helpless and needy neighbors from murder.
Okay, if that's your judgment of our church, that we're.
Well, I'm saying
neglecting
I'm
the
saying most churches. I've been to a lot of churches.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I mean,
if that's your
you told me
assessment-
that like maybe 10
well,
or so
in that
people.
strategy. You didn't hear what all the other things I said.
Well, I was listening to you.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't hear you repeating them back. I need to go.
Okay.
So if you're going to respectfully disrespect, I don't know, whatever that means, what the elders of our church are saying.
Well, yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna remain here,
Okay.
and so please consider, just think about these children, sir. What you saw on the sign. Thank you for talking to me.